Trina here from Scruffy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So happy you came by for a visit. Today I'm working on a layout for my coffee journal. Yes, I actually have a journal just for my coffee projects, but as much coffee as I drink, I probably need a journal for just that purpose. This particular page is being done for the Scribbles challenge, and our theme this challenge is Sip and Savor. So come on over and share those lovely things you love to drink with us. As you can see, I've chosen coffee. So I always start out my journal pages right here in Cricut Design Space. And I start with the size of my page, how much of the page I want to cover. So this particular journal, there's an area for 6 by 6. So I go ahead and put that in just for my reference. That way I know exactly how large I want my focal image and I know how large I want my verbiage. What I did is I started with, let me move this back to the front here. I started with this image right here from Scribbles Designs. Decided I wanted the always, and then list some things that I'm grateful for. So what I did is I brought in the Scribbles Designs image, and this is how it comes in. So we're going to automatically make some changes here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to scooch this back here because we're going to be talking about these different fonts. I knew that on my page I was going to want to put some flowers and some different things up here. And I knew that this wasn't going to cut unless I did an offset. And I didn't necessarily want an offset on this particular image. So I needed to get rid of that. All I did was I brought in a shape, a square, and I simply drag it across that like so. Those little marks right there. I swipe over everything using my mouse, and I'm left clicking while I swipe. I hit slice over here in this right hand panel, and it's gone. Now this is what I have left. Now this is facing the opposite direction, and I really want it to face this direction. Again, very simple. All I need to do is, while it's selected, come up to flip. I'm going to flip it horizontally, and now the cups are facing this direction. Now I do want an offset to create somewhat of a little shadow back there. Again, very simple. I already have it selected. I come up here to this top panel. I left click offset, and it automatically comes in and does it. I just have to come in and decide how big I want that offset to be. I decide how big I want it, and I hit apply. And now there it is. Now, I did sort of a grayish, so I can change that color if I like. I also know that I want it just to be a basic cut. So up here where it says Print and Cut, I'm just going to click that. I'll do it again. Click that, click Basic, and then it comes in gray, so we're fine. Next, I chose this Always from Sophisticated, and that is over in your images. So I knew I wanted the word always. I just clicked Images, typed in always, and then any word that you have for always is going to be here, and you can choose whatever verbiage you like. And most of these include the word always somewhere in them. Again, if you're liking this big one, it is from Sophisticated. I chose to cut that out of vinyl. I'm not sure I would do that again, and you'll see why when we put this together. I thought, oh, I'll just do it in vinyl, and then it'll just stick right on the page. And it does stick right on the page. But you'll see that I sort of struggle with that when I'm trying to get it down and get it straight. If I were to do it again, I might choose to go with just black cardstock on that. Okay, so how did I get my words on here? All right, well, this grateful for, again, the word grateful came from pumpkin spice and everything nice. So what I did, and I'm just gonna go over and pick that up here. So I'm gonna unflatten this for a moment. Click on the grateful, click here. If I right click on this, it'll give me image info. Then I can just click grateful and it'll take me right to that word. I click it, add to canvas, and then right there it is. So all I did with this is I just sized it appropriately. All right, brought it in. I choose these two and I can flatten. All of these other words I just typed in. I came over to text, typed in for, then I used Alyssa stencil script. So I come up here to this box right here where it says Cricut Sans. I'm going to click that. I'm going to type in Alyssa, and there it is. I click it, and now it's there. I can go ahead and bring this down to a smaller size and just stick it right in like so. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is really in the kind of this dark black so it shows up the same. Now I did these in different, like I did this one in a gray, I did this one in a medium black, I did these in a bolder black. And that'll give you a little bit of variation. You can see here that this was Alyssa stencil script, Aphasia BT, DTC apple cider, Alyssa stencil, DTC Acre, and Quirky. So that kind of tells you where these different fonts came from that I used. Once I got them all into place, again, I just typed them in here at text. I'll do one more for you, and I'll do the hope. And I chose to go with Quirky on that. So again, I've chosen it here. I come up here. I'm just going to type in Quirky. I click it and you see it changes. And now I just take it down so that it fits inside there. Then when they're all typed and put into place, I select them all. And I come over to this right-hand panel and click Flatten. And then it's ready. So we have our shadow, we have our Print and then Cut, which has all of our verbiage on it, and we have this always, which we're going to cut out of vinyl. So when we come over to make it, all right, let's just take a quick look at that. For any material, confirm. These are going to print and cut. When we come over to the always and we say continue, we come to this layer, basic cut, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click vinyl. So that's going to be a different setting. Let's say that you don't have that in your favorites. You're going to come to browse all materials and you can just type in vinyl, or you can go through these different options and find vinyl. And there's vinyl right here. So you have all these different kinds of vinyls, okay? So I usually just click regular vinyl if that's what I'm using, unless it's something special, which in this case it is not. All right, so I hope that answers any questions you might have about what we've done in Cricut Design Space. If not, leave those questions below. We're gonna head on over to the craft table and put this together. Here we are at the craft table, and this is my coffee journal. And if you'd like to see how that was made, I will link that, and I will also put something right up here in the right-hand part of your screen. All right, here is the little cup saucers, and the shadow. I have colored that up with some Copic markers. I also have some extra flowers there. Here's my always that I cut out of pre-stick vinyl, and it's ready to go. I've weeded that out. Now I'm taking a cereal box liner and laying it under my page just to protect the pages behind. This mixed media journal is full of mixed media type pages. It's just a mixed media paper. I'm going to go ahead and coat it with Liquitex clear gesso. And I thought maybe, I don't do a lot of mixed media work, I thought maybe it might stick my flowers on, but it did not. So I brought in some Liquitex Matte Gel. That did the trick. So I just put a little bit on the back of the flowers and then went ahead and just sort of brushed over that, and they are stuck to the page. I basically put those in just to add a little bit of texture to the page. I'm coming in with Distress Oxide, and I'm just taking it and patting it down on an ice cream lid. And now I'm adding some Blick Beige. This is gonna make it more of a brown color. I'm also adding a little bit of water to it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a sponge, and I'm gonna sponge just randomly all over the page. It's thicker in the middle and probably a little thinner, a little less paint around the edges. No rhyme or reason, just laid it on there. Now I'm coming in with some dark teal color, and I'm adding some pearl white Blick paint, and I'm basically just putting it on the very edge of a stamp block, and I'm just kind of hatching in lines. That's all I'm doing with this, and just randomly. And some of it's coming off pretty strong and other parts are not. Now I'm going to come in, I'm going to spray this with some water, come in with my fan brush and just kind of put little sprinkles of paint all over. Now I'm showing you this little technique. This is just a little side technique on a piece of scrap paper because I don't like to waste any of my paint. And this one also, I'm just sort of fanning it out there and then putting that on this other piece. And I'll use those in other projects. Now I'm coming in with what little bit is left, and I'm just going around the edges of the flowers that I'm going to be using on the top of the cup. Going ahead and darkening up the edge here on the shadow piece. And now I'm going to show you how I make this little embellishment with the thread. I just spread my fingers apart and I go over my index, over my middle, over my index, over my middle, crossing in between on every single stroke that I make there, or pass that I make through my fingers. Now I'm going to go through my fingers behind the thread, pull it through, and that's going to create a big bow. Now all I have to do is just tie this off carefully, and I thought I was going to have to get a clip or something to hold it, but then I thought, no, I can do this. I can do this without clipping it. I'm just going to pull it and tie it off here. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed up my video because all I'm going to do is just tie it off a couple more times and it'll be finished. I'm going to go ahead and start laying this out just to see if everything's going to fit and work the way I had thought. And I noticed that this flower just was not standing out. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of blue just so it pops off of that next layer of flowers. Here is what I was telling you about at the beginning of this video. Wow, was this ever an issue? I will tell you that I sped this up 8 times the actual speed. So you can imagine how long it took me to get that on and get it straight and not stuck to what it shouldn't be. Again, I might actually rethink that and do that out of cardstock next time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just use a little Fabri-Tac and glue these into place. I'm going to go around these cups and the cup and the saucers with a little bit of black Copic ink just to outline the edge and give it a nice strong finish around my focal image. Again, a little more Fabri-Tac and glue that into place. And I'll use Fabri-Tac to glue in the little flower pieces and my thread embellishment. All right, that's going to pretty much wrap up this page. Not a lot on here, but enough to make just a fun, sweet little coffee page. This would also work as a card, I'm sure. So if you're not into the layouts, but you like cards, this would definitely work there also. Any comments or questions, leave them in the box below, and I'll leave you all the information about this project, as well as information about the Scribbles Challenge. Have a great week, and I'll catch up with you later. Bye.